Here we are in the trial of somebody we don't really care about and kind of wouldn't mind if he actually did it.
Oi!
Not gonna lie, this is kind of making me want to go watch some rakugo.
We're the Bittersweet Gamers.
I'm the opinionator?
Every square.
Window testimonio, let's go!
I noticed she shows dying message right away. Window, when you saw the cards on the table, what made you think they were Master Toneido's dying message? Well, it was a coded message right there next to the body. I'm sure anybody would have thought that they were there to name his killer.
How often do we have to go through this dying message talk?
A lot for me. I love murder mysteries and often watch them on TV. That's not suspicious.
Just like to rust in me, huh?
I see. That's not fishy. I saw a similar scene during a murder mystery marathon last Tuesday. That's what made me think this must be a dying message. The stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, you see? Okay.
So what I think is that his actual killer is the person, arranged the dying message to frame Bucky, of course. And so this guy, everything he's saying is probably true.
I think it's Balloon Girl.
Just because this is Phoenix Wright, it's not hard to guess the murderer. It's not!
What's hard is pinning it on them.
Yeah, proving it.
The cards were on the table your master's body was slumped over, right? You must have been surprisingly calm to notice them at the time. As I said, the stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, so they were hard to miss. But wouldn't it have been more natural to notice the victim rather than the cards?
That's
That message just caught my eye. Because, stiff.
Wow, it's just like how you talk, Billy. It's like if you don't get the pun at first, you try again.
Don't you patronize me. Yeah, but that fact hardly seems significant enough to make a person take note of them. Stiff cards, next to the stiff. Don't you guys get it?
Billy understands.
It's funny.
Billy understands.
Okay, this is a dead line of conversation. So
just as dead as Toneido!
There was no real reason for them to catch your eye, was there?
But they did! Even if he is lying, I don't believe he's lying about that.
Hey now, enough with the silly puns already.
What do you mean, hold it? How can you argue with this part?
More puns! That's right. I need you to give your testimony, not perform a scene. Please remember you're on the witness stand, not the stage. Though really in these games. But look at all these wonderful people in the audience. It's only natural for an entertainer to want to have some fun.
You mean to want them to have some fun?
I guess we can let a few jokes slide, right? Stiff?
If you say stiff one more time, I'm going to hit you with the stick.
Oh, the inevitable bleeding of your work into other areas of your life. I know how that is.
I just imagined, like, the judge at a golf game.
What, like trying to golf with his gavel? I find myself being unwittingly judgmental in my personal life, too. Right? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Well done, Your Honor. Guess you can't judge a judge by his cover.
Thank goodness. I was really starting to get interested in Rakugo there for a while.
I advise the defense not to be so critical of me. Yes, Your Honor. Much obliged. Anyway, I got the meaning right away. I knew it must have been talking about Bucky. The cards do spell out wet number 4, which could be interpreted as wet noodle number 4, I guess.
Yondaime, perhaps?
I suppose you took this to mean Bucky wet. There's only one wet noodle around here, and you've seen that giant 4 on his back. It's the only interpretation that makes sense. Yeah, I guess so. I was just kind of hoping I could think of something else. But wait a minute! What is it? What if there's another wet noodle in the area? It could be a chain, you don't know.
Yeah! I'm pretty sure there's no way that it's...
What? Did I say something strange?
Bucky is the sole heir to the shop. So enough with the ludicrous straw grasping!
Hey, how was I supposed to know? I didn't get any preparation for this!
We've already been over this. Just listen to the testimony again and find the glaring inconsistency.
That was the Master's final message, left as he was drowning in soba broth.
Find the glaring inconsistency!
So the victim lined up those cards in his final moments? Doesn't that seem kind of well thought out for someone drowning? How can you be so certain that that's how it went down? I know, Shisho. He would never let someone get the last word on him, even in death. With his face in the soba broth, and his consciousness fading away.
With his face in the soba broth?
He was a performer to the end. He left a message that pointed towards Bucky as he left this world.
Wouldn't he have taken his face out of the soba broth and thus not suffocated?
No. It's the only way it could have happened.
That doesn't even make sense!
Hold on, David makes a lot of sense. The only way? Now you're just speculating.
Wait!
Look, a dying message is something you leave as you're dying, right? I saw a scene like that in a detective show. What?
Uendo, we have a saying in my country. Silence is more precious than diamonds. Why? Who would say that?
Someone who doesn't want to hear the accused rambling, then just hurry up and convict them.
How extremely specific of a saying! Please do not speak any more than is necessary.
Now hold on, that's how pressing works! But talking is my livelihood, you know? I talk all the time, this and that, truths and untruths. I probably shouldn't have said that last thing. I can't stop myself from talking. Hopefully he'll stick to the truths without any of those untruths. It's so like Shisho not to write Bucky's name outright. Plain and simple wasn't his style, even as he was dying. But don't you think it's strange? Could a dying person really leave such a convoluted message?
Not if they're suffocating.
Well, if I'm drowning, I better hope I get all these right cards in the right spot.
And if you've got the presence of mind to do that, for God's sake, if you're drowning in broth, just take your face out of the frickin' soup bowl!
Even in the throes of death, it was in Shisho's nature to throw in a twist somehow. Truly the consummate entertainer till the very end, don't you think? Was he really that great of a man, Simon?
It would have been no easy task, to be sure. But who knows? He wasn't an entertainer for 55 years for nothing.
If I ever bite the big one like that, I want to leave a message as good as Shisho's. Well, let's hope it never comes to that. He's such a weirdo. Simon, are all rakugo artists like this?
It's hard to say. It could simply be the eccentricity of an entertainer, or perhaps he's hiding something.
You're messing with me! Well, he doesn't have to entertain people in a court of law.
He clearly does, though.
And if he is trying to hide something, maybe it'll show up as a contradiction or something.
Maybe it'll be a contradiction!
Oh yeah!
Explain how it's not going to be the autopsy on the part
of him drowning in the broth?
Yeah.
That seems like it has to be it.
Maybe we're wrong and this is sort of newspapery, but the fact is, he wasn't drowning in soba broth. If you drown, and I can speak from frickin' experience, you have water in your lungs.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're drowning in soba broth, you have soba broth in your lungs. Even if this is wrong, I won't be able to live if we don't try it out.
Well, let's give it a shot. Woo!
Thank goodness, because I even talked about it before.
There's a contradiction in Uendo's testimony. Was it the puns? No! And would you care to explain where, Miss Sykes? Certainly, Your Honor. According to the autopsy report, nothing unusual was found in the victim's lungs. Oh, yes, it does say that, doesn't it? Well, you see, if he had drowned in a bowl of soba, then there should have been soba broth in his lungs. But since there wasn't any, it means the victim was suffocated with something other than soba broth, like a balloon. What?
Man, the witnesses in this game are pretty universally good. It's not always like that. There have been times when they have not been that great.
I seem to remember, from what limited I do remember of playing, that the witnesses were really good.
What I'm saying is they're actually pretty exceptional in this game.
This is the contradiction you noticed, isn't it, Simon?
Not bad. BSG was blathering on about it for 45 minutes.
I know, I used my special hearing to hear them.
Not bad at all.
I guess I showed you. But if drowning in the soba broth wasn't the cause of death, then when was the victim's face thrust into that bowl?
Well, he had to have already died, or...
After his murder!
Yeah.
Uendo Toneido's face was thrust into the bowl after his murder!
Because otherwise he either would have lifted his face up, or he would have gasped and snorted some broth up.
Plus, it just seems to me that there would have been a bigger mess. Like, the bowl would be, like, off the frickin' table or something if he was struggling.
No, yeah.
Because no soba broth was discovered in the victim's lungs, his head must have been placed into the bowl after he was killed. And that's when the soba broth must have been spilled onto the Karuta cards. In other words, the victim could not have lined the cards up as he was drowning, and there's other evidence that says that as well, you dum-dums! I see. So it was done after he was already dead. But why would the culprit do such a thing? I'm afraid I don't know yet.
Oh, for goodness sake. Sometimes I'm just embarrassed by you miserable people. You boast of psychological expertise, yet you cannot determine such a simple motive.
Hey, my minigame hasn't started yet, buddy.
Nayuta certainly knows how to ascribe motives to people, generally wrongly.
My
sides are liable to split at the absurdity.
What? And I suppose you know why?
Of course. Desecrating the body in that manner indicates a strong sense of enmity on the part of the perpetrator.
Yes, that does make sense.
I'm sorry. That means the only options for a murder are random and enmity?
I think they're still pushing for the whole trying to recover the deed thing.
Well, yeah, that's where he's going, of course, but blah.
It certainly paints a clear picture of the culprit's intense feelings toward the victim.
He didn't like him. That's why he killed him.
Right?
I mean, I think everybody kind of figured that part already. Feelings of resentment over the theft of the soba shop's deed. No doubt.
I mean, I don't know anything about contract law, but... Just great. Now the judge has an even more unfavorable impression of Bucky. Oh God, wait till we call Bucky to the stand.
No, we can't call Bucky to the stand. Must you come undone at every juncture? If the culprit had time enough to set up Master Toneido's body, do you think they would have honestly failed to notice the dying message?
Good point. The cards were right in front of his body, after all. Rationally speaking, there's no way the culprit could have missed that, huh?
Objection.
But was the accused rational at the time, given the way he stormed out of that room?
And gently set Toneido's face into a okay.
Silence.
Never mind that. I have something more important to ask Uendo.
Me?
You saw the Karuta cards firsthand, did you not? Would you care to tell us about them in a bit more detail? Those tiny crime scene photos show us precious little of what I wish to know, such as the distribution of the broth. It looks awfully strange, does it not?
Well, those cards are from Shisho's special Soba Seeds of Tokyo Past set. Each card is related in some way to Soba.
Spare me the history lesson. Just tell me how the cards looked at the scene and no more.
Well, there was soba broth spilled all over them. That's not much help, I'm afraid.
You got that,
kind of
player? Go to the court record and look at the soba broth spilled all over them.
Something just doesn't match up here. I can't quite put my finger on it.
It's the Camel brand manju. And sake.
Prosecutor Sanmari, do you have a photo that shows the cards more clearly? Why are you so reluctant?
I do. Please accept this meager offering, Your Honor.
That's a scroll.
Oh my God. Good job, guys, for translating this. Because this cannot have been all that fun.
Oh my God. Oh my, what delightful looking cards.
Well, well. Tearing Prosecutor Sad Monk's conclusive evidence apart should be a breeze with this.
I agree. Huh?
Don't tell me you haven't noticed. Sorry, I was reading the cards.
Okay, I won't tell you, I haven't noticed.
It was like Zaru Soba, Zaru Soba, Zaru Soba, Zaru Soba. Right over there.
Don't be silly. Of course I have. Not noticed anything, but I can't exactly say that now, can
And
I?
I really like that wavy one.
Yeah, because it's the hair.
But also wavy soba, you know?
Poor ouch. That guy looks like he got jacked up. Miss Sykes, do you really see a problem with the prosecution's claim about these cards?
Well, go on then.
All right. It's do or die. All I have to do is study the picture and point out the bleeding obviousness of it! These cards were rearranged, are a kind of riddle. These cards were rearranged. But how can you tell? Please take a good look at these cards, Your Honor. The answer is right in front of us.
Equipment.
Where exactly should we be looking, Miss Sykes? The stains! Please focus your attention on the soba broth stains on these cards.
Man, I really want to look at the art on them. It's really interesting.
The outlines of these stains don't match up with the larger stain on the table. Oh, would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
You're absolutely right.
Oh, do we get to like rearrange them to see if we can spell out something else?
Oh, and?
Let's see.
Please recall that the soba broth was spilled and got on the cards after the murder, when the victim's face was placed in the bowl.
For the... I mean, it's probably pointless. We get for the one. For the now.
For the now!
Now the 4. 10-4.
10-4, good buddy. 10-4, ow!
How 10-4?
Okay, the O went first.
Boo bam the bone meat.
Hold on, because the O goes right up there. And then the W goes where the H is. E's in the right spot. And the N is at the end. Own.
For heat own. No.
The 4 goes where the N is.
Hun. Oh, I'm not even paying attention to those. I'm just coming up with things. Eton.
Owen fourth? Something like that?
I don't think it matters, but it sure was fun to do that.
Yes, go on. Not you two fools. I mean, the prosecution and the defense.
Oh, come on!
By the stains, we can see that the culprit deliberately rearranged the cards after that. In other words, this message was altered in order to pin the crime on my client. What? My, what a coincidence that just the right amount of cards happened to be there in the right order for them to
No,
do.
we can't deal with that. That's because it's a game in translation. You just gotta shut up.
I know. Then, if we put the cards back in their original positions, we can restore the evidence and see who the cards were really pointing toward.
Boo Bam Bagbone!
That's true. Meat bag on the bone.
Polkoon! Meat bag!
Then what are we waiting for? Let's do this. All I have to do is rearrange the cards so that the stains match up.
Oh, we actually do get to do this.
Let's see. Where was this W card originally? Perfect. Okay, the H card is next.
I mean, this is actually pretty fun, but
It is.
I just want to make it say fun things. Yeah.
All right, now the E card.
It would be funny if it actually somehow were a dying message.
It probably wasn't, I'd imagine.
How could it be?
A perfect match. Next up is the T card. This is really fun.
These are really nice cards, too, aren't they?
Yeah, I like the nostalgic one, too.
They're all good, every single one of them. It makes me really hungry now that I think about it. When. For when. Oth. No. Oh, noth. Oh, noth.
Like Owen Forth. But that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, I guess Owen Forth is the best thing we can get. They really must have had a hard time with this, because they had to make the card thing and the clothes all match up.
So the message, wet number 4, was originally supposed to say Owen Forth. And this original message is our clue to the identity of the true culprit.
It was Owen the Fourth!
What?
That indignant look on Prosecutor Sad Monk's face is positively priceless.
I am totally going to steal that name when I refer to Sad Monk. Thank you, Black Quill.
Black Quill does more good for the world. This is absurd. Owen Fourth? What does that even mean?
So it was originally Owen Forth? It wasn't wet number 4?
Bag Boo Bam Meat!
Well, they did say that the actors took the name of their master. Order! Order in the court! Well, I never would have imagined that there was more to these cards than meets the eye. Transformers!
I mean, that's true, but who's Owen?
So, now that that's settled, what does this Owen Forth mean? I have no idea, Your Honor. Wait, am I?
Meat Bone Bam On. No, Meat Boo Bam On.
Boo Bone Meat Bag. Boo Bone Meat Bag.
Who else do you suppose is to provide an explanation? Of course it's you!
But I hadn't thought that far yet.
Change the cards around all you'd like, but if you cannot explain what the message means, then it is as worthless as you are, Defense, and we may as well go with Meat Boo Bam Bone.
But what if it wasn't a dying message? Is that not a possibility? No! And even if I can't explain the new dying message, that still proves it doesn't implicate Bucky!
Yeah, it's like they were clearly moved around.
Yeah! Then Bucky wouldn't do it to implicate himself!
And considering it was under the spilled broth, then it's like he had to have already died because we already established that because he didn't have any broth in his lungs.
This is the sort of thing that kind of really ticks me off. It's like
this just doesn't even matter.
Yes!
And so, shut up, both of you, shut up! And so the spring chick that fancies itself a graceful swan is brought back down to earth.
I have to do something, but what?
Athena! Use your ears and listen to us! Still your thoughts for a second. There's a perfectly good witness to question over there.
Oh, right. That's a good idea. Come on, Athena. Get a hold of yourself. Uendo, does the phrase Owen Forth mean anything to you?
I mean, we get Winnow, I guess, but...
No, there's no one named Owen in the Toneido family, or our circle of friends. Go ahead, ask anyone you'd like. You can't be serious.
Having rummaged through your empty mind, I see you have, as expected, turned up nothing.
Give me more than 2 lines of dialogue before you... Ooh.
Silence.
Good old
I love
sad
that.
monk. Oh, the silence.
Silence.
And the pound.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I have no idea who the devil this Owen Forth is either. But the fact remains that the cards were rearranged to pin the blame on Mr. Wet. It's just like BSG was moaning about moments ago.
Thank you, Black Quill. Finally,
No,
someone in one of these trials points something like this out.
In Dual Destinies, Black Quill was not focused, the vast majority of the time on the stupid stuff.
I like this guy with every passing second.
That in itself proves that the defendant isn't the real culprit.
Or are you going to say that he changed it to make it look like him to deflect suspicion?
That's probably exactly what he's gonna say.
Because that is a degree of intelligence I would not attribute to Bucky.
Well, maybe he's quite bright when he's not sauced.
Prosecutor Black Quill is right.
By the way, I was totally being sarcastic.
Besides, the important question here is not who does the message point to, but rather, who rearranged the cards?
You morons! Why didn't you point that out earlier if you already knew?
Sorry.
You let me take the cool part. I'm not even a lawyer.
In any case, there were 2 opportunities for someone to rearrange the cards. The first was when Mr. Wet entered the dressing room. And the second was when Uendo discovered the body. Are you accusing me of rearranging the cards?
This one's my favorite.
Me, who came to testify out of the goodness of my heart?
It's like his face becomes the role.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't exactly come running out screaming straight away, did you? Even a mere 2 to 3 minutes is more than enough time to get up to some devilry or other. So, what exactly were you doing in there, Uendo?
Well, you see, this is good tea.
Put down the damn tea and spit out your answer!
Mr. Prosecutor! What's a guy supposed to do at a time like this?
Silence is more precious than diamonds, witness. Therefore, you need only stay silent.
Oi!
I mean, doesn't he seem corrupt?
He does!
He's got such a good reputation around the world, but he's just such a frickin' jerk. The defense is devious. They are waiting for you to make a slip of the tongue.
Yeah, that's generally how this works. Oh, I see. So that's what they're after, is it? In that case, Your Honor, I've decided not to say another word.
Very good. After all, your right to remain silent is protected by law.
Well, Prosecutor Blackwell, any other brilliant ideas you'd like to share?
Oh, I missed that. Did you hear that, Sykes Dono? A rakugo artist who's afraid to speak! Who's ever heard of such a thing?
Ah, time for some psychological manipulations of our own.
Are you trying to taunt him into talking? Such a petty trick will never work.
That's right. I'm not going to fall for it, although I really do want to talk.
I'm only asking to hear your story. Besides, is it not your job to tell your tales if there is an audience to listen?
Even so, I have the right to refuse to answer.
The more you keep quiet, the more we want you to talk. That's simply human nature. Isn't that right, people of the gallery?
Oh!
Turnabout, fair play, etc., etc. Must speak. Rakugo, performer!
Perform?
Even with this wonderful audience in front of you, you still refuse to talk?
You know, this is kind of dirty, but screw it. After what Sad Monk did.
If so, then perhaps you chose the wrong line of work, my friend.
And he knows how Rakugo actors think. Are you saying I should quit? Because I'm not afraid to speak my mind, I'll have you know. No, never mind what I just said. It is scary to talk. It's absolutely terrifying. But no, as a Rakugo artist, I must talk. If I don't, how can I ever show my face on stage again? Your Honor, I'm ready to testify. He did it. He managed to convince Uendo with his power of suggestion technique.
Child's play.
Like a Jedi mind trick or something.
Bully for you, Uendo. That's as a real Rakugo artist should be.
All right. If the witness wishes to testify, then by all means, please do. I'm not entirely sure what I just witnessed, but it was spectacular.
To be turned by such an obvious ploy. What a man of weak spirit.
Why don't you want him to testify, Nayuta?
Well, the same reason we don't want Bucky to testify. In the dressing room.
After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. When I entered the dressing room, I saw Shisho slumped over at the table, motionless. Okay?
From what I can tell, there do not appear to be any inconsistencies in the testimony on account of the things he said amounted to nothing. But you can't say he's wrong.
That's true. That's why we press them for extra comments. Of course there aren't any. Because I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm lying by omission. Prosecutor Sadmati's right. I don't see anything inconsistent either. But I did pick up on some faint discord in Uendo's heart. Time for my gimmick!
Ponder all you would like, defense, but it is pointless. Your Honor, I believe there is no need for further deliberation.
I disagree, Your Honor. I detected discord in the voice of the witness's heart.
If you get to try and spike everything by talking about your Kuraianese courts, then we get to spike everything by talking about our double analytical psychology over here.
That's a clear indication that Uendo is facing some sort of inner turmoil.
Turmoil!
It's time for our own divination seance, if you will.
It is like that.
Well, I do keep allowing it. Are you saying what I think you're saying, Miss Sykes? Yes, Your Honor. The defense would like to conduct a quick therapy session on this witness.
Objection.
Uendo, there is no need for you to submit to this so-called therapy.
It's fine by me. I have nothing to hide. Bring it on.
Impetuous fool! Why will you not listen to the guidance of this
holy servant of the humble mother?
Something like that.
If the witness wishes to proceed, I see no problem, prosecutor. That's kind of your problem, isn't it?
It's time to move on and let it go. Let it go and move on. In one ear and out the other. It seems this performer has no need for your so-called guidance, Prosecutor Sad Monk. Just know this, Uendo. Your folly will surely earn you divine retribution.
Thanks, Simon. I'm going to make the most of this opportunity you created for me.
Just keep your wits about you.
I will. Uendo, could you tell us again about what happened in the dressing room?
It is always fun looking at these pictures.
After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called out to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. When I entered the dressing room, I saw Shisho slumped over the table, motionless.
Okay, why was he happy in the last one?
Yeah.
That seems pretty weird to me.
Uendo, something here just doesn't match. Match. Ah, I see. Match, as in...
This...
Managed to assert a thoughtful, calculated hypothesis.
Oh, that's pretty good. But what? How did that even work, though? What did you click on? Was the hand...
I clicked on the happy face. And that's what drew attention to it.
It's just the controls for the Android version actually are weird when you're emulating it on PC.
Yeah.
So it's like I wasn't sure what actually happened.
In other words, you are the something here that didn't match, correct?
I'm not entirely sure what happened, but it appears you've met your match.
Can someone stop saying match for 5 seconds? No worries. That was just one match. There's still the rest of the game to go. I didn't really notice any unexpected emotions in that testimony.
But it isn't always a question of the presence of an emotional response, but the absence. I certainly saw enough of this last game.
You know, you're right. Not always the emotions I do see. Sometimes it's a matter of what I don't, but would expect to see.
I still think it's weird that he'd still have joy upon his master not responding.
It could be that it just hasn't occurred to him that something might have been wrong.
Well, apparently so. That's not an issue, so we should just ignore it. In any case, the answer is probably that he wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, rather than wrangling about the sad factor, which it makes sense that he'd be sad, dang it!
Uendo, I'm noticing something strange with these emotions.
Though it's still weird to be like, hey, and then still be like level 2 happy, but whatever.
Right? Some thin stranger with cheesy toe skin, you say?
Pull up the transcript! Something strange with these emotions. Some thin stranger with cheesy toe skin.
Yes, that is exactly what I said, you big dum-dum. No, something strange with these emotions!
Are you sure he isn't actually you?
While my hair is quite magnificent, it does not quite have that degree of control.
Well, that's why he has the ball joint with the wires from the fans in order to put the hair at a different point for each of his characters.
Ah, I see. That must be the secret. How could you have heard some thin stranger with cheesy toe skin?
Because he
by
wanted...
choice.
Yeah, by choice!
I don't know. Maybe it's me who's got some cheese in my ears.
Cheese. Have I mentioned that I've been fasting for nutritional and health reasons?
Did he will the floor to open up and swallow his cushions out of shame for that bad joke?
Billy? Are
Look
you
at me.
sure he's not really you? It's like if the dimensions diverge, and because this guy is very American, see? So
Oh,
it's
yes,
like,
obviously.
You know, in another parallel world, where you became a rakugo storyteller. So we realized we hadn't actually looked at Geiru or Uendo in the court record. Doesn't this right here implicate Geiru?
Yeah.
He has less experience than Geiru, yet he's become higher ranked than her. Go back and see. She's 6 years older than him, has 12 years of performances under her belt.
Yeah, that does seem to pretty heavily imply.
Like, I'm just saying, there's some information there. But that's what we do, isn't it? But so does most everybody who plays these games. It's
That's
not like
true.
it's usually hard to figure out who it is or just take a wild guess. And then there was this one case in the second game where you're like, isn't it that guy? Like, before anything has even happened, you're like, this guy's gonna be a murderer, right? It's the Yakuza guy, like Tiger something.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't remember anything.
Well, it wasn't he the guy who, like, clawed his face? Or is that someone else?
That's someone else.
That's someone else, okay. The point I'm trying to make is that I noticed something unexpected in your emotions.
Athena,
Stop trying
shut
to
up!
change the subject!
Be quiet, Athena. We're having a conversation over here about face scratching and tigers and Yakuza.
Now stop hiding and come out where we can see you!
And Geiru and Blones or Bloons and...
Bailiff, please bring the witness a few replacement cushions.
Okay, I'm done.
That's So what was this unexpected thing you noticed? Oh, come on! His Honor said a few cushions, not a few dozen! Now that we've all had a good laugh, please continue, Miss Sykes. Who's laughing?
Me!
I guess Damon is. Focus, Athena. Don't let yourself get rattled. When you entered the room and saw your master slumped motionless over the table, you weren't the least bit shocked, Uendo. Don't you think that's a little odd? Is it though? Lack of surprise means you were prepared for what you saw.
Oh, I like how on the widget,
Yeah?
she's got like a button for either email or text messages, and then there's one for internet browsing. What's the one on the right? The UFO?
Maybe some sort of like Snapchat or something like that?
Yeah, probably. It reminds me of this stupid looking Digimon, and then the star next to it is clearly to fire a beam.
Oh, we should use that more often, frankly. And I think I know why. The reason Uendo wasn't shaken when he saw his master's dead body is because he knew about his master's death.
We've been thinking that the time was wrong this whole time. There's no way to really establish it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that he killed him, but...
Right. Wendo, I think maybe the reason you weren't shaken was because you already knew you would find your master dead. Pew!
I mean, does he... He must, in his sleeve, he has like some wires that he pulls to deploy the fans in his hair.
What? What kind of thing is that to say?
I mean, crazy as Billy's hair is, he doesn't have control over it.
I know, it just acts on its own. You've got it all wrong. All right, I just remembered something completely arbitrary. I thought Shisho was just sleeping when I first saw him. That's why I felt sad.
That's why I felt sad.
You thought he was sleeping? Sounds plausible, but...
Happy to not hear him when he opens the door, which makes sense now that we know this. And then sad to see him asleep?
What made you think he was asleep? Well, he had his head and arms up on the table as if he were taking a nap in a soba.
So I decided to stuff his face into the bowl and rearrange the cards.
Oh, and one other thing. There was that note, too. Note?
Yeah, the one
What note?
The note that I hid from you so you wouldn't find it. Ah, he must be talking about this.
I wonder what it's like having all the evidence you need when you start a case. It must be nice having the police on your side.
Well, you know, in the investigations games, you have to, like, gather all of the evidence, and you don't ever go to trial.
Oh, yeah.
It appears to have been written by the victim.
On Camel brand toilet paper.
Allow me to read it.
I can read it right there.
Resting, do not disturb. Oh, sorry, I'm not a native speaker.
Yes, that's the note I saw. After reading that, who wouldn't think Shisho was napping?
First we've heard of it, guys.
That is a pretty reasonable assumption. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, but we can immediately discredit that.
Simon, you were right there.
That's right. I saw this note, so that's why I thought Shisho was asleep.
How can we discredit it instantly, though?
We can just point to the sadness. If he amends his testimony.
Oh, looking at it like that.
Yeah. I want to change my testimony to include that statement so that you can point it out. All right, I'll run an update. When I opened the door, I thought he was sleeping.
Oh, you're not sad now, huh? Funny how that works.
But something seemed off, so I rushed over to him. I was shocked to find him dead. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah, anger instead of shock, or surprise rather, does seem odd.
There was one emotion that seems out of place given Uendo's actions and statements.
Athena agrees.
I wonder why I felt that particular emotion then.
Man, sometimes those are actually pretty interesting, but... Well, if you've noticed something, then quit trying to fish out all the dialogue. Hurry up and point it out already!
I know, I'm just trying to be thorough, that's all.
I want to get the dialogue in case there's a joke. It's funny when we had the match thing, wasn't it? Come on! Puh. It looked to me like you were just being timid.
Yeah, well, like,
You wanted
compared
to
to
get-
you, everyone's timid.
You wanted to get the hint to make sure your thinking was right.
I was not. You just watched me pinpoint the heck out of his emotions.
No, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, something does seem off.
Should be shock.
Uendo, I noticed something funny in your emotions again. Funny, you say? Funny like me? I guess an entertainer of my caliber can make people laugh, even with my emotions. No, I didn't mean that kind of funny. Quite the opposite, actually. When you entered the dressing room, I see that you suddenly felt anger. What I want to know is, what made you feel angry all of a sudden? What? Let's see. Oh yeah, now I remember. I stubbed my toe. Oh my god.
Oh,
Billy? My god!
Now, to be fair, this was not pulled literally out of nowhere. Billy has a long-running personal joke where if he wants to say something that is completely non sequitur and irrelevant, he will say that he stubbed his toe.
It's true.
So he didn't just pull this out of nowhere. He was trying to make an irrelevant non sequitur.
Which makes it even funnier.
I don't even know anymore.
As I was going in, I whacked my little piggy on something. I was annoyed at my own clumsiness. Wait, you mean you stubbed your pinky toe? Just a little bump on my little piggy. No big deal. It's embarrassing, really.
Not by the hair of your chinny chin freaking chin, kid.
Sounds more like he's hiding something. I'd better dig a little deeper. No need to be embarrassed, Uendo, but I'm afraid it's something we do need to look into.
Hit the star key to fire the beam!
Pew! I don't really see anything you could have stubbed your toe on. In the area around the dressing room door in this picture.
Maybe you could have kicked the table out of place.
But maybe there was something there at the time. Yeah.
That actually would be funny if he really did stub his little piggy toe.
Uendo, what exactly did you stub your toe on?
Objection.
No, it's relevant!
What an irrelevant question.
Of course I knew what he was going to say.
You dishonor the soul of the victim with these unnecessary delays.
You tell her. Really, who doesn't stub their toe every once in a while? You really gotta fuss over every small detail like this?
Yeah.
As a storyteller, I also do that. Well, the thing is... Don't look at me like that, Simon. Even the most subtle of fluctuations in a person's psyche can lead us clues into the truth. I just added words there, I'm so sorry.
Not by the hair of your chinny chin chin!
That's why it's important to get to the bottom of this question. Plus, if I back down now, who knows what new insult Simon will hurl my way. Just set on all sides. Is there really no trace left of what Uendo stubbed his toe on by the door? What in the world might have been there then, but is not there now?
In other words, we just simply look at a couple of things.
I mean...
The table...
The table seems the obvious thing.
But why would the table have been by the door? But that is definitely something that was moved. What am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing.
I was kind of sounding like a monkey, wasn't I?
A little bit, yeah.
But it wasn't by the door.
You know, that drag mark
Looked for the TV.
leads right up
And
to
the TV is unplugged.
Yeah.
That's gotta
and if
be
the TV
it.
was being used to make someone think that he was still alive.
That's right. That's
Moving
what
it near the-
that's what Simon had said. We figured at the time that it was a performance on TV, so it's got to be the TV.
Yeah. Please take a good look at this photo of the crime scene.
Drag marks.
Do you see it? This long track that goes from the door all the way across the room? Now that you mention it, I do see traces of something getting dragged. And the drag mark ends There, at the TV.
No, at the unplugged TV.
This implies that the TV was originally by the door. I'm convinced that this TV is the object the witness stubbed his toe on. Well, Uendo, how about it? Yes, you're right. It was the TV.
Then why'd you move it?
There, the noise level dropped again. Yes, I stubbed my pinky toe on the TV. But what of it? Why is this so important to you? So the noise went down, but it hasn't completely disappeared yet.
One more round, let's do it!
Which means he's still hiding something. Okay, then let's try this tactic instead. Uendo, why was the TV moved there? Shisho must have moved it so he could watch my routine. But what a place to put it. Right in the middle of the doorway like that. How unnatural.
It's
considering
as
it was
if
probably facing the door.
It's as if the person who killed him then moved the TV in front of the door for reasons we just discussed.
Yes.
You know, to make it sound like he's alive for somebody who conveniently has a Simon Black quill standing next to her to, hear it, so she's not the only person alleging it.
Could be a combo, you're saying then. Maybe they both were in on it?
No, I don't think he was in on it.
Oh, okay.
That's just intuition.
I didn't want to bump into it again, so I put it back where it belonged. It's not so strange, right?
I mean, he's clearly doing some funky stuff, but
tampered with the crime scene.
Yes, but that's not killing him.
That's true. Performances on stage can be viewed in the dressing room using that TV. That's right. It's a closed-circuit monitor that shows the stage. That sounds important. I see. Now what? I can't find anything else out of place. I still haven't gotten the noise level down to 0 yet. Simon, I'm still getting noise here, but...
What are you looking at me for?
I don't see anything else fishy. Can you give me a hint?
This is precisely why amateurs are such a bother.
Sorry.
I'm in no mood to play nursemaid here, but if that's what it takes to save the soba shop...
Good to know where your loyalties lie.
To his stomach! Oi, Uendo! Here's a curiosity for you. This table Master Toneido is slumped over looks like it was moved. Did you happen to bump into it while you were moving the TV back?
Oh my! Yes, you're completely correct. The TV hit the table and Shisho's body moved with a jolt, so I had to put it back in the soup. That's when I first realized that Shisho was dead. Oh, but how scared I was.
I see. Thank you. I can't believe, even though BSG freaked about that television table, you never noticed it, honestly. We're finally getting a more precise picture of how the body was discovered. But I'd wager you need to put the spurs to Uendo just a trifle longer.
Right! I can't keep asking Simon to bail me out like this. It's time for me to regain my footing and really stand on my own. Uendo, what you said just now about discovering your master's death, could you please describe all of that again for the court in detail?
Time for the last 10%.
All right. But before you do, let me just plug in the latest information. Beep, boop, 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 boop.
I wish I could create art like this out of nowhere.
I tried to enter the dressing room, but stubbed my toe on the TV.
Kerplong.
When I put the TV...
Pointed at the doorway.
Yeah. When I put the TV back in its normal spot, I realized that Shisho was dead. Seeing him slumped over that cluttered table. Oh, Shisho.
Surprised, only a little sad. That is not nearly sad enough, especially with his sniff. Oh, Shisho.
Well, let's fish for more commentary. I'm not really seeing any emotions I'd consider out of place.
Not out of place.
Which means it has to do with the strength.
Intensity.
How about you, Simon? Even though I just said I was going to stop asking you for help.
Do I need to do this entire trial over for you? I do not have a bad sight, Dono. How many times are you going to come running to me?
I don't have to run. You're right there. It's really convenient.
It is. He did come here on his own.
No, I was just looking for a second opinion.
Well, take another good look at the flow of emotions. Don't just look for simple inconsistencies. Look at just like they pointed out before, the intensity of his emotions too.
I see. Thanks, Simon! So, buddy. Window, something here just doesn't match.
Oh, really? We're wrong then. Well, in that case, what about the stupid freaking intensity of the surprise?
It's fine, we got it.
We basically were pointing out the same thing.
Yeah, that's odd. After the initial shock of finding the victim dead, you reacted with surprise again? What was it that surprised you, Uendo, besides your master's death?
Owen Forth!
What do you mean? What's more, you were even more surprised the second time than the first! What could have surprised you more than finding your late master? Search me. Your little thingy must have made a mistake.
Silence.
Ooh, say it again.
Silence!
Ooh.
The girl is as sharp as a trout, to be sure. Sharp as a trout.
The hell does that mean, Simon?
You know, I recall this game, Ephemeral Fantasia, on the PlayStation 2. It's actually pretty good. It's a JRPG.
Isn't that the one that had, like, sort of Guitar Hero in it?
Yeah, it did, yeah. It wasn't Guitar Hero, it was like Guitaro Man. One of the characters wielded a fish as a weapon, and it was a bladed weapon. So he cut people with the fish.
Well, you know, I guess if the fin is sharp enough, I don't frickin' know.
The girl is as sharp as a trout, to be sure. But her ability to hear people's emotions is absolute.
Oh, I see. That was an insult.
Now, get to remembering, Uendo. What was it that surprised you?
That was the compliment, right?
Of course it was, Athena.
Well, this tea is so good. I never want to stop drinking. Whoa!
Okay, that's backwards.
No, we pushed him too hard and now he's mentally all over the place. His emotions are completely out of control.
Oh, these are cool. Out of control? Care to explain how that's relevant?
You know how normally I listen for the hidden emotions in a witness's voice, right? From there, I look for inconsistencies between their testimony and those emotions. But sometimes a person's feelings can run too high, making it hard to get proper readings.
If I remember correctly, there was something where it was like the visuals of it were all wrong and whacked out, but it was not like this. So that's how your Matrix program works. Fascinating.
Ordinarily, it's just one emotion that runs out of control. But it seems there's nothing ordinary about this time. I.
Yep.
After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. When I opened the door, I thought he was sleeping. I tried to enter the dressing room, but stubbed my toe on the TV. When I put the TV back in its normal spot, I realized that Shisho was dead. Seeing him slumped over that cluttered table, oh, Shisho.
So how did that work exactly?
I knew it.
What's got your knickers all in a bunch now?
You leave my knickers and loins out of this.
You know, he does seem to be talking about her knickers and her loins a lot.
Uendo has multiple emotions running out of control at the same time.
Like more than zero.
I've never seen anything like this, ever!
For instance...
Maybe because he's an actor and has all those different characters.
Oh, yeah. Fine, I was trying to make a joke, but I guess I won't. So, how does one bring a situation like this back under control?
I'll have to find the root cause of this tangled mess before I can treat it.
Yep.
If I can identify what is causing this emotional rampage, then I can tap probe to dive in further. I'll need to point to what I think is the root cause and touch probe again. Through this process, I can identify exactly what's causing Uendo so much stress.
This was really rare. It's like once or twice in Dual Destinies, I think.
Oh, nice.
And that will help bring his emotions back under control? In that case, let's get started, shall we?
All right. I can't guarantee success, but it's definitely worth a shot. Time to look for the root cause of Uendo's rampaging emotions.
We're pretty much gonna have to pick up next time, though. After all, this is gonna be a little important. Once we figure it out,
it'll help give us a big clue as to what's going on.
We'll move on to the next phase of the trial, too. And we don't have the time for that, so that's why we have to end now.
That's why we're the ultimate cliffhangers.
No, our cliffhanger game has really fallen.
Like off a cliff?
Yeah, pretty much.